on? You're listening to Fallin' Out. I'm Raymond.
I'm John.
How's your day going, John?
It's going all right. It's been a pretty good Sunday. You know, the Lord's Day. Went to church.
Ew.
With my, to each their own. You know, some people go to synagogue. Some people go to temple. Some people go to mosques. You know, but I prefer church. It's pretty nice. I mean, our guest pastor today was somebody who was president of a company. Wasn't a minister or a pastor. Didn't really like him at all. But hey, I got McDonald's afterwards. That's
what people want to hear about. Yeah. McDonald's. What'd you get, John?
Oh, well, lately I've been a fan of their big breakfast platters, but lately I'm starting to get away from a lot of those just fatty calories and just empty calories. So I went for the Egg McMuffin, but I also got the side with the hash brown, just for that nice McDonald's crispness. I think that's always an advantage of going to McDonald's, especially for breakfast. It's very important, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
No empty calories there.
Oh, no. Guaranteed. No, the Canadian bacon's very lean. Eggs are very good for you with that good cholesterol. Other than the bread. I mean, the bread's not really... the bread is bread. It's carbs. Whatever.
And the hash browns.
Well, you know what? If you want to judge me for eating a hash brown, I can just leave.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is perhaps that notion of empty calories maybe isn't exactly...
It's just a hash brown. It's only $1.29. How much can it affect my body?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. That makes sense. So... what you're saying is everyone should just eat McDonald's for every meal, because if you don't spend a lot of money, then it can't be that bad for you because there's not enough of it.
Well, but they also have to be sure of what they get at McDonald's, because like sometimes they always advertise the meals, like the fried chicken sandwich meal or the Big Mac meal. You don't go for the meals. You don't. That's stupid. That's that's a pleb thing. That's a beta male thing to do. What you got to do is you got to research. You got to research and you got to look at their menu, figure out what you like, all right? And then you go for the low-bearing fruit, or the low-hanging fruit, not the low-bearing fruit.
Yeah.
You got to go for those dollar menu items. You got to get those McChickens. McChickens are the best thing to get at McDonald's other than breakfast food.
Amen.
Then you get the cheeseburgers. You get the McDoubles. You make a few McGangbangs. You get a drink. You get the large drink. It's only $1.
Everything's $1.
Everything that I get at McDonald's is $1.
That is... wow. I must say that your fast food. I cannot deny that.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk Taco Bell? We can talk Taco Bell.
Okay, hit me up.
This isn't a fast food.
Oh, okay.
This isn't, the report of the week over here, as much as I love that guy.
We don't want to encroach on his territory.
He'll kick the shit out of us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got to talk what we know, or at least we like to think we know.
We purport to know.
Yes. Good word of the day, purport.
Yeah.
I wonder how we could spell that,
Yeah.
P-R-O-P-O-R-T. Proport.
Speaking of sports, Spelling Bee. How about that? We watched that. Yeah. We'll start off with, this isn't in the docket, but you reminded me. 8-way tie.
8-way tie, yeah. We had a kid named, Rohan?
Yeah.
Rohan.
There's Aaron.
Rohan. Aaron, the lone white girl. Not being racist or anything, just pointing out that she is white, and we haven't had a white winner in a long time.
And there was, do you remember anyone else?
Shruthika.
Oh, yeah, I remember that guy.
No, it was a girl.
Oh, it's a girl.
Saketh is the guy. That
okay. I'm going to be honest. We just had it on, while we were playing pool.
Yeah.
I liked, Yolanda.
Yeah, she was good. The Asian girl from Mississippi.
Is that who Yolanda was?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, you really were paying attention. I respect that. Yeah. Is it the Spelling Bee? Is that a sporting event?
I mean, because it's on ESPN and ESPN, wants to give, a view of wider sports to their audience. I mean, I guess it's a sport, but I mean, there's no physical activity involved. So I don't know if I would consider it a sport.
Did you see they would pretend to write it down on their hand when they were spelling it? That's wrist work.
That's just recreational activity, I think. That's not sport.
All right, I can live with that. I know it's a sport. Basketball, that's definitely a sport. No dispute about that one.
That is true. You wear jerseys for that.
Yeah, that's how you know. You don't wear a button-up polo with all the buttons buttoned up. That was the favorite outfit for the guys at the spelling bee. I recall.
Yeah, or just like the sweatpants.
Yeah.
That would be my go-to.
Oh, I know.
Just show up there, don't care, maybe not even shower.
Yeah.
Wearing sweatpants, my hair all greasy. Just spell words like, I don't know, some like weird German word from like the 1500s.
That's what I didn't get. So many of the words clearly weren't English. Like, I mean, they were used in English dialect. Like, if you were to say them as an English speaker, that's what you would say. But they're not like traditionally used in the English language.
Yeah, well, like all of these words up there, I had never seen before.
Yeah.
I mean, there are words that were from like New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand speaks English and all, but like words that were of Inuit descent or origin. There was a whole bunch of Greek ones, which are fine because we get a lot of stuff from Greece. A lot of German ones too. I mean, it's a very global challenge. You have to learn a lot more than just whatever, the English vocabulary and all the grammatical nuances of English. You have to learn what goes on in German, in Greek, how we derive a lot of those words. It was very challenging. And I mean, for kids to dedicate their entire 12 years or 13 years of life to learning how to spell, whether they wanted to or whether their parents, nudged them forcefully to do it, it's congrats on them for winning.
Very interesting.
Or even being there.
Yeah, I really didn't think I would enjoy the spelling bee as much as I did. But here we are.
How do you even like get into that? Like what if somebody was like interviewing you and just be like, hey, what made you want to be a speller?
You're probably like, I like language and
no kid at 12 likes I like to study language. I like to do all that. I like to spell for fun.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably there's some though. Maybe that wasn't you. It certainly wasn't me. I mean, I liked English as much as the next guy, but yeah, I didn't like spelling words. I still don't. I don't know how to spell most things.
Microsoft Word spells most of my words for
yeah.
me.
But anyways, we almost reined it in and actually started talking about basketball there, but then we got sidetracked again. I'm not exactly sure how. But let's dive into the NBA Finals.
All right.
What's
Diving
bigger?
in.
Sorry, I'm going to sidetrack us again. What's bigger, the NBA Finals or the National Spelling Bee?
It's the NBA Finals.
Okay.
It's by far the NBA Finals. You've got two countries, USA, Canada, two big cities, San Francisco or Oakland versus Toronto.
Yeah.
You've got two All-Stars, Steph Curry,
Superstars.
Kawhi Leonard, and then you got Klay Thompson. And, the big question mark with Kevin Durant. There's a whole bunch of storylines going on here.
Yeah.
And that's all ESPN likes to show nowadays. No highlights, just all storylines and drama.
We're going to be talking highlights.
Yeah.
Stats.
Well,
real stats.
Hard, cold facts that don't care about your feelings.
You said that last week.
Didn't get that from anybody.
You said that last week. You can't keep doing this, John.
It's fine. Well, you know what? I can have my 60-second soapbox whenever I want to.
Okay. That's fair. I understand
But
that.
let's stop sidetracking as, you so often do, Raymond.
What?
And let's get into, the heart of this.
Yeah.
Talk about the Raptors and how they looked like they were better than the Warriors last night.
Can you believe it?
It wasn't last night. It was, 3
2
nights ago?
3 nights ago.
I mean, given Kevin Durant wasn't on the court, Iguodala looked a little bit hurt after he
a little gimpy
re-injured that leg.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins did not look good at all. I mean, he looked winded after the 8 minutes that
he
played.
looked about as good as you can expect for someone that tore their quad about what was it, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's being rushed back.
I can understand. He wants to play. There's a reason he came to the Warriors. It's to play in the finals. He has never had a chance to really perform in the playoffs, and it's really unfortunate. As much as the off-court issues with DeMarcus Cousins, and you talk about, using the Warriors as like a scapegoat to get a cheap ring, you feel for the guy. You never want to see a guy keep getting injured, especially with how talented he is. And you could see, when he was out there, he wasn't making shots. He wasn't himself, but the IQ was still there.
Shots.
Yeah, the IQ was still there. He was making good passes. But he's not going to be a threat this series. I don't think. It's clear that the Raptors are very fine leaving him one-on-one. And I don't know how much better he's going to be able to get over the course of the next 2 weeks that they're going to be playing. It's just not enough time.
And I don't think size would be a huge hindrance for the Raptors. I think that's one of their strengths with Gasol and Siakam. They're very good lockdown defenders who have size and can guard the rim. And you also have Kawhi Leonard to that mix. I see paint points being very hard to come by for the Warriors, which we sort of saw in Game 1.
Oh, yeah.
Their overall field goal percentage was a bit low. It was 44%, 43%, something like that, compared to the the Raptors, 50%, I think.
Yeah, just around 50.
That is one of the major things that I saw that was sort of a hindrance for them. But I think it's something that we could have predicted, though, with Kevin Durant being out, with somebody who can't post up like, Boogie used to do, or Kevin Durant. And really you're relying now on Draymond Green and Andre Iguodala to get the job done. Because, yeah, Kevon Looney is pretty good. Jerebko is pretty good, but, he's not that typical standard big guy. He's more of a guy who can shoot the three.
Yeah. He's not going to post anyone up.
Jordan Bell was pretty absent in Game 1.
Yeah, he's not really a big part of what the Warriors look to do. He's a guy that they can bring in with height, but not necessarily a guy they're going to play, 20, 25 minutes a game. He starts to get the jump ball, and then it's more or less it.
And Livingston, that's not really his game, posting up. Like, he's the more the mid-range kind of guy.
Yeah, he'll set up in the high post every once in a while, but yeah, he's not a low block kind of guy, even with his height at the point guard position. Yeah, it really is going to be a question of, with Kevin Durant sidelined and Iguodala still a little gimpy, who is going to get the points? Can Iguodala play through these injuries and give you 15 a night? Can Draymond Green turn it back to 2015, 2016 and start becoming more of a scorer? Or is it going to be someone else? I don't see anyone else on this team being able to put up 15 points a game off the bench, aside from Iguodala, who's actually in a starting role now because of the Kevin Durant injury. So,
do you think Livingston could do it?
No, I think Livingston is a very good player. I think he's one of the better backup point guards in the league, but he's too limited. If you're a point guard and you can't shoot the three ball, you're not going to be super productive on the offensive end and with point production in today's day and age. It's just too hard.
Yeah, the depth of the Warriors, I think, will get them if Kevin Durant's not going to be able to come back in time. But we saw their starters out there, like Steph Curry, 34 points.
14 of 14 from the free throw line.
Yep, perfect. He was able to manufacture a lot of the team's points when shots weren't going in. 4 of 9 from 3, so shooting all right from 3. Klay Thompson, 21 points, 5 rebounds, an assist. I saw too much dribbling from Klay Thompson, I thought. The Raptors, to be fair, that's what they do. They run guys off the perimeter. They play ferocious defense. So Klay Thompson was sort of having a difficult time getting open shots, and he sort of had to create some of his own shots in a way by dribbling around defenders.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, still doing a good job. Draymond Green, triple-double, although the very basic triple-double.
10-10-10.
Yep.
Just barely getting in there.
He seemed to get a bit rattled. He was getting a little bit angry on the court, not as angry as we've seen before, but he did had 6 turnovers and 5 fouls. So I think Siakam was getting to him tonight. Oh
yeah, Siakam absolutely cooked Draymond Green on the possessions that Draymond guarded him. It was definitely a part where Draymond was left alone with Siakam for most of the time because the focus was Leonard, obviously, as it should be for a well-coached defensive team. But, man, Siakam who had struggled against the Bucks really pretty badly, comes out game one. Draymond Green, one of the better defenders in this league.
One of the best defenders, and the guy that can get in your face and cause problems, not just with your game, but with your mental state as well.
Yeah, 14 of 17, 32 points. And that was a lot of hustle. There's a lot of running out in transition. And it was just wanting to win more than Draymond Green, which is not something that's easy to do. You can say a lot about Draymond Green, but he is a competitor.
Yep. Definitely. And I mean, I think there was a stretch where Siakam made like 8 or 9 shots in a row.
I think it was 11, actually.
Jeez. Yeah, he was on fire. But definitely the MVP of that game goes to Siakam. And I think that was the reason why Siakam was able to just explode was because of the double team of Leonard the entire night. Leonard struggled. You know, yeah, he did put up 23, 8, and 5. But from his usual all-star production, 5 of 14, I don't know if that's going to get it done, especially in these upcoming road games for them.
Yeah, he's going to need to find a way to get his legs back under him. Clearly, in the Bucks series, he was also clearly a little still hobbled from his injury, but it was at a point where he could still play through it and be very productive. I mean, he cooked the Bucks in that series. But in this game, it looked like that injury was getting to him. And I don't know if that's going to change. I mean, I'm sure the trainers are going to be all over it, making sure he's feeling as loose as possible coming into game 2. But we'll see. It's going to be really interesting when he gets that, that second step, that explosive, first and second step, if he's able to get by guys and finish strong at the rim, because he really wasn't able to do that in game 1. And if he can't do that in game 2, I mean, I just don't see Siakam going 14 of 17 next game, as good as Siakam is.
Yeah, and I think it's all going to revolve around how the Warriors develop a new strategy to play defense. That's probably looking forward to being one of my big questions for the episode.
Okay.
But the Warriors are going to have to find... They're going to have to come up with a decision. Are they going to be okay with doubling Kawhi and letting the rest of Toronto beat them? Or are they going to try something different and leave him one-on-one on Leonard and let him cook the Warriors' defense? We're going to have to try and figure out... Or the Warriors are going to have to figure out what they're okay with. Because the big guys for the Raptors last game, I think they put up doing the math right here in my head, 75 points. Gasol, Leonard, and Siakam. Like that combination is just crazy. And then you add a few more from Serge Ibaka.
Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, Fred VanVleet was going off, although he's not really a big guy. He was drilling shots, and we saw Danny Green step up. He was pretty much absent in the games against Milwaukee and a lot of the other earlier series. But he really stepped up. He was 4 of 9, 3 of 7 from 3 with a few crucial open shots that he just drilled. 11 points, 2 rebounds. That's what you like to see from a guy who's been struggling in the postseason, and hopefully he can continue that going forward.
Yeah, I really liked Danny Green early in this game. He came out without hesitation shooting the ball, and he got the crowd into it early, and though his made threes led to other guys having confidence, I think of their first 9 shots, 8 of them were threes, and they were hitting them at a pretty good clip. And you could see that sort of really dictate how the rest of the game played out, because, the Warriors got to respect that now. It's clear they came out a little flat-footed, weren't closing out fast enough, and maybe, I wouldn't say the jitters were getting to them. They've been here, time and time again, but they kind of got hit with a quick left hook from Toronto, and, they responded, but that response required them to maybe give a little bit more up in the painted area to try and guard that perimeter. Yeah,
but still all around very ferocious effort from those guys in this game. Toronto, from looking at their past in Game 1 history, I think they were 3-15 or something. The stat that ESPN threw up there one day when I was watching SportsCenter, one of the few days now that I watch ESPN. They were abysmal in Game 1s, but I mean, first time in the finals, I guess there was a new flame in them. They turned over a new leaf. They were ready to go. But I think we do have to address the injury issues here. We'll talk about Katie a bit later. But Leonard continues to look a little hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing banged up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing through it. So, is there a point where the Raptors have to take a look and be like, okay, he's playing a little hurt, but when does hurt turn into being injured?
Yeah.
Is there a point in this series where the Raptors would, lower minutes a bit for him and do a little bit more like load management of what they did earlier in the regular season? Or is this just like you have to go all out and play him at least 40 minutes a game?
Yeah, you don't know if you're going to get back to the finals, especially in the East. Bucks are going to be good for years to come with Giannis. Sixers are always going to, as long as they have Embiid and Simmons, are going to be competitive. Celtics look to retool a little bit, hopefully get back to the promised land.
Keyword hopefully.
Yeah, and you got other teams like the Pistons and the Nets who are looking to be competitive here in the near future. So you can't be like, you can't say, we'll worry about this. We got to look towards the future. Obviously, you don't want to, hurt Leonard to the point where it's going to be detrimental to his career. And Leonard, he knows this. He's been here before. He's dealt with this injury. He's not going to do anything that would seriously inhibit him long term. But I think if this is an injury that you can play through for the next 2 weeks, you have to do it. That you have to go out there and play 40 minutes as long as it's clear that you're still capable of playing. Because you never know. You never know if you'll ever get back.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you on that. I mean, you've got to play him. And I mean, that guy's heart's going to carry him through it. Because a trophy is everything, especially a trophy against the mighty Golden State Warriors, who are a huge dynasty right now, who could three-peat. Having that on your resume and as your legacy for Toronto, too, there's so much riding on this finals for Kawhi Leonard that I don't think that he would be allowed to take, or he would allow the trainers to take him out. But Iguodala also looked a bit hurt. Looked like he re-injured that hamstring or the calf or something.
Yeah.
MRIs came back as negative. There's nothing wrong, so it's probably just some soreness or whatever. But if he re-injures that, looking at the Warriors' depth already, do they need to start worrying even more? Do they need to maybe fast track Kevin Durant's comeback?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Warriors fan, I think after game one, you're not sweating yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe you're tugging at your collar a little bit, like, ooh, I don't know about this one. But you're not too worried about losing this series. With Iguodala, tough guy, tough as nails. He's going to fight through this injury. Issue is, you're looking for productivity. You want to make sure he can come in and give you minutes that are not only just to be like, put a guy out there, but someone that can give you, like I was saying, 15 points a game. And it really is going to come down to who are the guys that are going to put the ball in the bucket besides Curry, Thompson, and Green until Durant comes back. I mean, it's a simple question, but I mean, right now the Warriors don't seem to have an answer.
Yeah, could it be McKenzie? I mean, he's a good 3-point shooter. That's also very big. Can get in the paint. Could it be Jerebko? Somebody's gonna have to step up. Kevin Looney.
Looney is good. I like
Sean
Looney
Livingston. A lot. It's gonna have to be one of these guys on the bench that are gonna have to get the job done, or else I think Toronto. If they win game 3 or 4 and Durant isn't back, it's over.
Yeah.
I mean, if they win game 2 and 3, series over, no matter if Kevin Durant comes back.
Yeah.
That's just too much of a deficit for the Warriors to climb back from. Especially with
Wait, you think a 2-1 deficit for the Warriors, even if Durant comes back game 4?
Oh, no. 2-1. No. If it's 2-1 and Durant comes back game 4, they're fine. I think they'll win.
Okay.
If it's 3-0, it's over.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that.
If it's 3-0 or if it's 3-1 and Durant comes back like Game 5, I think it's over.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that statement.
So looking forward, or after Game 1, now we're looking forward to Game 2.
Tonight.
So what do the Raptors need to do to improve in order to take this stranglehold on the finals series, and as we're going over to Oakland for Game 3?
Let me ask you something before we get into this. Do you think this is a must-win game for the Raptors?
Yes, this is a must-win game for the Raptors. They have to seal up home court advantage.
Okay.
You can't make any mistakes when you're playing against a team like the Warriors, and you can't just let wins or games that you should win go by the wayside and make it harder on yourself and win one in Oracle. That's just going to be way too difficult for your team, especially a team that doesn't have a lot of finals experience. The only guy with any finals experience on the team are Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard. I don't think
Gasol does.
Oh, Gasol? Okay.
I think so. Well,
which Gasol? I think Pau Gasol was...
Yeah, Pau. Oh, God, now you're testing me.
Marc Gasol played on the Grizzlies.
He played on the Grizzlies, but did he play on someone before then? Oh, I don't know. We'll have to look into it.
Yeah. I mean, it's for guys like Siakam, Lowry, Ibaka, Van Vliet, a lot of these younger guys.
Ibaka did play. He was
yeah.
on the Thunder team.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. But for guys like Van Vliet, Kyle Lowry, and Siakam, you need these wins so that you don't have unnecessary pressure on them. Because these are guys that are operating really, really well right now. Everything's gelling. Everything's going well with chemistry. If you lose this game, you can just sweep momentum out from under their feet.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the worst thing that could happen for the Raptors. So, yes, this game is definitely a must-win for these guys.
Okay. Yeah, so what I think they need to do is transition defense. Their half-court defense is impeccable. It's a beauty to watch. Really, really, really something amazing.
Yeah. And they also need to be able to stay out of foul trouble. That's something that plagued them a little bit because Gasol fouled out, and Lowry had five fouls or something like that. In an away game when the crowd is cheering against you, you need to keep your cool a little bit better, make sure that you're playing mentally at your best. So that's something that they're going to need to sort of hone in on for this game up here. And transition defense, as you said, that's just crucial. That both teams were plagued by very poor transition defense.
Yeah. And for the Warriors, I think you're going to be looking at making shots from the field, looking to get good looks. The Raptors' defense really rattled them, especially in the paint. They weren't getting that really easy look where they would run Curry in like a little two-man game and then they'd have the big roll to the hoop, and they kind of Curry would get doubled and then it would be an easy look in the paint. They weren't getting that. Raptors, too smart, too good defensively. So they need to figure out new ways to get to the hoop, whether that's off-ball movement with Thompson. They ran a few backdoor cuts for Thompson that worked out. Maybe look to that a few more times. You just got to manufacture points against a great defense like the Raptors.
Yeah, and which they did. They did get, 31 free throw attempts? Something like that?
That's huge. I would agree.
Yeah. That's something that Steph Curry's going to have to look at and feel like that's going to be their strength going forward, is because the Raptors are running them off the three-point line. Like, they're leaving Gasol out there. They're leaving some of their big guys out there to sort of, make sure that Curry doesn't get that easy, split-second look at the rim and he can just drill it from three.
Yeah.
So, and I think driving into the paint with those guys getting some backdoor looks, because the Raptors aren't afraid to foul. The Raptors had a whole bunch of fouls. I think they had 20 fouls, something like that.
A lot of guys. Lowry, Gasol fouled out.
Leonard had 3 fouls. Siakam had 3 fouls. If you can get some of their big guys in foul trouble, that can not only hinder their defensive intensity, but it can also hinder a lot of their offensive production, especially with some guys that they may want to double team. Or Leonard, too. If you can get him in foul trouble, that pretty much takes all of the wind out of Toronto's offensive sails. But, yeah, who do you think is going to win this game? Vegas has Toronto as a 2-point favorite. But do you think
Curry is going to drop 45 points. He's going to hit 7 threes.
Jeez, all right.
And
bold prediction.
Warriors are going to take this one going away. They're going to win by at least 10 points. You know, I'm not a Warriors fan, but I know the Warriors. I've watched their reign for the last, 5 years over the league? 4 or 5 years. I know what happens. They're like Thanos, like he says. I am inevitable. And that's what Curry's going to do. Who do you got?
I mean, I remember texting you that night when when the Raptors came out in the first quarter and they were up, and then the first half and they were up, and I told you, oh, this reminds me of the Dothraki charge into the White Walkers with their fire swords.
Spoiler alert.
And then, I think, who gives a shit about Season 8?
Yeah, that's true.
Shit season. I'm not going to rant about that. It's hard to go against Vegas. You know, Vegas usually knows what they're talking about. But I have to give the edge to the Warriors in this game. I do think that they'll find a way to win. However, slick it is, or just... the Warriors are bound to have a game where they just shoot out of their minds.
Yeah.
And I think that game is tonight. I think you're right that the Warriors, Curry will have like 6-7 threes. Klay Thompson will go off with also like 5-6 threes as well. Draymond will also have a huge impact on the court. And I think one of their bench players will step up. I think it'll either be Kevin Looney, Andre Iguodala. I think will have a great game. We're all doubting him, but I think he'll have a great game tonight. I don't think they win it going away. I think it'll be tight. I think the Warriors win by like 5 points, 4 or 5 points, something like that. Raptors will keep it close. But yeah, that's who I have winning.
All right. Well, it's time for the segment. Who fouled out?
Ah, yes, the namesake of our show, fouling out. For me, there was a boxing match last night. Did you hear about that between this guy named Anthony Joshua, three-time heavyweight world champion of the world or whatever, and then this guy, this fatty Mexican guy, 268 pounds of not really. He's got some muscle.
He definitely had some muscle. Do not discredit that dude. But there's a lot of protection around the muscle.
There's a lot of refried beans, some taco meat, some hot sauce.
Do you think he goes to Taco Bell?
No. This guy probably raised on like a cow farm or something like that.
And he
makes his own tacos.
Oh,
he makes
he
his
gets
own
the good
beefy
stuff.
Fritos burritos.
Oh man, now I want real Mexican food.
Yeah.
Or I could just go to Taco Bell.
Yeah, and get the Americanized, commercialized version for $1. But anyway, that dude, after he got knocked down one time by Joshua, he just got back up, and the flabby dude just came out and bam, sucker punched this guy, got him down 4 times, and this Anthony Joshua guy who's like shredded, he's like the picture perfect, he's the guy that I want dating my daughter growing up, except hopefully he won't beat the shit out of her. But he looks like a nice dude, and he's handsome. He's rock solid. He's what I would dream to be.
No.
And he just gives up. He
gets
into his corner. He's just like, I'm done. He didn't even look interested in it. And this Ruiz guy, this Mexican guy, is just jumping all around, happy that he won. Credit to him for sticking in there, and I think he was actually winning at the time too. He knocked him down 3-4 times before the Anthony Joshua gave out. But yeah, you're the heavyweight champion of the world. You're shredded. You're ripped. You're in great shape. You have the reach on him. You're taller than him, and you lose by giving up. And they called it a knockout, but I mean, it looked like he just gave up, and he wasn't. That's why I got fouled out. Can't believe it. What a way to lose.
Who do I got fouled out?
I didn't know I had to ask you.
Who do I got fouling out?
Who do you got fouling out?
Raymond. You want to know who I have fouling out?
Yes, I do.
I have you fouling out.
What a stupid way to end this segment, but all right, why?
Because we didn't even talk about boxing.
Who cares? You got to throw in different sports and stuff everywhere. We got to get a wider audience.
Well, mostly I had you fouling out because I don't really have anyone fouling out, so I just decided to foul out you.
Wow. As if I need this shit in my life right now, you know?
Sorry.
I had to go to church today.
John.
Get some Jesus in me.
John, you're done. You can't talk anymore. That's the rule. If you get fouled out, you can't talk anymore.
All right, fine. You answer your own questions for 3 big questions.
All right, well, you have to obviously do 3 big questions, but then once we're done with the podcast, no talking.
So it's like Tyrion at the end of Game of Thrones being punished by being given the second most powerful position in all the realm?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm the most powerful. I'm Bran the Broken.
Shut up. I hate that so much.
Who has a better story than Bran? Literally any other character. What do you mean? Sorry. Unrelated.
Literally any other character. I love how they made that. Like, they actually said, Tyrion said, who has a better story than Bran? Everybody! Daenerys, Jon Snow, Arya Stark, Sansa. You know, hell, Littlefinger had a better story. That little boy from the Vale who became Prince of the Vale or whatever had a better story, and he wasn't even in, like, half the seasons.
Yeah.
All that Bran did was just get wheeled around and stared at people for the last season.
You want to know where this wheel came from? That's most of his conversation in season. Anyways.
It's just creepy.
I got a question for you.
All right, what's your question?
What game does KD come back? What are you predicting?
Game 4, done. Next
Game 4.
question.
All right, well, now you have to ask me a question.
I think he comes back Game 4. That's sort of what people have been projecting. And I think if the Warriors are down 2-1, they have a shot at winning. And I think they have a pretty good shot at winning. If they're up 2-1, they win in 5. But if they're down 3-0, I think they lose in 6. So, but anyway, what is my question? So we were talking about the defensive approach for the Warriors.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this question. Should the Warriors continue to double-team Kawhi and let the Raptors beat them with the rest of their guys? Or should they play everybody man-on-man and not double Kawhi?
I think you continue to double Kawhi. Even if it's a soft double, you have to be smart when you double. You have to decide what situations you're going to double, and that's going to change throughout the game. And that's on the Coach Steve Kerr. He's got to let his guys know you all have to be on the same page. You got to say, all right, we're going to double, say, if he's got a dribble going to his right side, we're going to double. Or if he's at the 3-point line coming off a pick to his right, or he's coming off a pick to his left, the guy that's getting picked goes over top. The guy who's on the screener covers the bottom, and you double there. You have to decide this before the game starts, and you have to make sure everyone's on the same page. Because if you're not on the same page, then you're gonna have defensive breakdowns, and that's how. And Kawhi's gonna dissect you. He's a very good passer. He's a very good playmaker. So I think it's gotta be. I think anytime he gets in the paint, you're doubling on that drive. Unless he shows you that he still can't finish at the rim. If he shows you he's not comfortable in the restricted area, then maybe you don't double there. Maybe you only double on screens or stuff like that. But I think you still have to continue to double him. He's too dangerous not to.
All right, that's fair. Fair answer. I like it. Okay, what's your final question for me?
What
Raymond?
is my final question? All right. 2011. Let me take you back.
Oh my God.
Dirk Nowitzki
I was in middle school.
wins the chip over LeBron and the Heat. Gets his first ring. 2016. LeBron comes back to Cleveland. Beats the 73-win Warriors, coming back from down 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Now 2019. Kawhi Leonard casted out by the Spurs. Not really, but for the sake of narrative. Cast out by the Spurs. Comes to Toronto looking for a home. A team that's never won anything. Beats the Warriors in the finals. Who has the heaviest ring out of all three? Who earned their ring the most?
Ooh. That's difficult. That's a tough question. In my opinion, It would have to be LeBron.
You're giving it to LeBron.
I have to give it to LeBron because Cleveland sucks.
That is true.
Cleveland just flat out sucks. Like, in 2016, like, yeah, he had Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving was critical, especially in that Game 7.
Kevin Love, too.
Kevin Love was also huge, but I mean, like, he was flaky in some of his performances. But LeBron was the rock.
Yeah.
LeBron was the guy that would average like 30, 32 points in that series. He was crazy good. He was the inspiration for Cleveland. He was the reason why Kevin Love came to Cleveland. So in my opinion, he's the guy that made it all happen for Cleveland. Like, yeah, Dirk also, like, I'm not taking away from what Dirk did or what Kawhi could do. Like, but Toronto's been in this position for years. Cleveland, before LeBron, sucked.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my opinion, the heaviest ring, in terms of what, the most, like, diamonds on it, or the most,
it's more
gold?
of a metaphorical sort of, like, idea.
So I
not
wouldn't
like,
understand it because I'm not majoring.
It's like
in
rhetorical,
English.
like heaviness. Like,
well, if it's a rhetorical question, then why'd I answer it?
That's not what that means.
And he doesn't even know his own stupid forms of
rhetoric is a rhetorical. Never mind.
Of joking or irony or anything like that because he's a stupid English major.
Yeah,
all right, and I
big
think
dumb idiot.
That's a waste of time.
Yeah.
But that's all we got, unless you want me to sit here and ridicule him more or talk about Taco Bell.
All right. Before we go, fourth question. Did I already ask you this? Favorite thing to get at Taco Bell?
Oh, it's by far and away the beefy Fritos burrito.
All right, there you have it, folks.
To get that, it's $1. It's so good. Just
not
get 5
sponsored,
of them.
but
or the apple empanada. Get that for dessert. Wash it down with like a cool, diet Pepsi or Pepsi Zero.
Wow, incredible. We'll see you next week, guys.
Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier.